We are meant to call from out of the past stories, strange and weird.
Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre.
Stories of the supernatural, the supernormal, dramatized like fantasy, the mystery, the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginary plays, we urge you calmly, sincerely, to turn off your radio now.
Welcome back to The Horror. Thanks for joining me once again. We're going to hear this week from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater series that began in 1974, aired until 1982, produced 1,399 original shows. It aired 7 days a week for its first 6 years, before reducing itself to 5 days a week. Lots of shows, lots of good stories, like the one we'll hear today. It's from March 10th, 1980. It's titled, You're Going to Like Rodney.
Come in. Welcome. Nice to have you with us again here in this vault of vampires, this haven of horrors, this mansion of mystery. For within these halls today, we're going to share an experience of chilling proportions. That of babysitting. Now, I don't really mean babysitting, since our young charge is 12 years old, hardly a baby, but you know what I mean. Taking care of a 12-year-old can be more trying than taking care of an infant, particularly such a child as this.
Ed, have you looked deeply into his eyes?
No.
I have, several times. I felt as though I were staring into a deep well, an abyss, into nothingness.
Oh, come on.
And there's something about the way he stares at us, a deliberate stare, as if he were trying to hold us. With his eyes.
Our mystery drama, You're Going to Like Rodney, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Bob Juran and stars Tony Roberts and Patricia Elliott. It is sponsored in part by Sunkissed Growers Incorporated. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
When an orange says Sunkissed on the outside, you know it's juicy and sweet on the inside.
Hey, Sunkissed sweet, it'll knock you off of your feet. It's so fresh and juicy, plump and heavenly. Hey, Sunkissed sweet.
Sink your teeth into a big, bursting, sweet, succulent, scintillating, juicy, vibrant, luscious, lip-smacking, mouth-watering, tongue-tickling, sun-kissed orange.
Ain't Sunkissed sweet?
Call 1-800-528-1234. Best Western.
You can call Best Western any day or night.
We'll get you a room that will be just right.
Round the world, lodging for you. When you want Best Western, here's all you do.
Call 1-800-528-1234. Best Western. 1-800.
Would you give your right arm to help save someone's life? I know I'd give either arm, because I have, lots of times, to give blood at the Red Cross. L.C. Vaughn of Detroit, Michigan, has given more than I have. L.C.'s a Red Cross 2-gallon blood donor, and we agree on just about everything when it comes to blood. We like giving blood, honestly. Of course, you might say we do it for a selfish reason. Helping save lives makes us feel good, and we like to feel good. But no one at Red Cross ever asks why we give blood. They're just glad we do. You see, we know that the need for blood is always there. Every type is needed every day. And that's why L.C. Vaughn and I plan to keep on giving blood. And we'll give it from either arm the Red Cross nurse wants to use. How about you? It's simple. Just call your Red Cross chapter and make an appointment. Tell them if L.C. Vaughn can do it, I can do it too. Come on, give your right arm or your left to help keep Red Cross ready.
It's sometimes difficult for childless couples to put up with the activity of youth. They lead a life where everything is orderly and comfortable. The intrusion of a child, even for a visit, can upset the harmony of their settled lives. So it was with a certain amount of concern, and yet a feeling of compassion, that June and Ed Carpenter in San Diego, California, read the letter that arrived from Edgar's brother, George, a New York attorney.
Helen and I are asking a favor. For the past 2 weeks, we've been caring for a young boy of 12. A tragic case. His parents were killed in an automobile crash last month. He's been living with his grandmother, a neighbor of ours, and only 2 weeks ago, she died from a fall. We're taking care of him until I can settle things. He seems to have no one else.
Oh, what a trial for the child.
It certainly is. We're asking if you and June could possibly take care of him for us the second week in July. We're committed to attending the International Bar Association convention in Switzerland and can't take him with us. I realize you've not had much experience with children, but being my blood brother does create a bond of sympathy. Rodney is a special child, and I think you and June could give him the care he needs while we're away. It's only for a week.
I wonder what he means by special.
Bright, probably. He finishes, it will be a great personal favor to Helen and me, and I know the best for Rodney. Let's hear from you. Affectionately, George. Well, what do you think?
Well, there's no one around here for Rodney to play with. He'll be terribly bored.
Well, July's our slowest month at the office. I mean, I could take more time off. I could take him to some Padres games, the zoo, the beach.
I really feel we should help. Of course. We can keep him amused.
I don't think it'll be too bad. Agreed?
Yes. And Mrs. Nathanson will probably come in to sit when we go to the club. She's always talking about her grandchildren.
Well, then I'll tell George we'll take Rodney.
We may even get to like him.
Oh, you're going to like Rodney, Ed. You can't imagine how much Helen and I appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to do it, George. Listen, you said Rodney was a special child. What's he like? What does he like to do?
Well, he's sort of the quiet type, you know. Hasn't been much trouble for us. We'll keep him indefinitely until I can settle things with the estate. There don't seem to be any other relatives. It's strange.
You said his parents died in a car accident.
Yeah, and I've tried to locate other family members, but there just don't seem to be any. His grandmother was apparently the only one.
Who took him to her when the parents died?
I can't learn that either. I was in touch with some of the neighbors in New Hampshire where his parents lived, but apparently they'd moved in only a few weeks before the accident, and no one knew anything about them.
Well, the poor kid has had a time of it. We'll take good care of him here.
We'll put Rodney on a plane to San Diego, and you can meet him at the airport, okay?
Okay, we'll be ready.
Thanks a million, Ed. I know you're going to like Rodney.
Oh, I wish we'd left earlier. The plane's in already.
Oh, so the kid'll wait.
It may upset him not to find us there.
Look, we're in time. They haven't opened the gate yet.
I'm glad George sent a picture of him. At least we know who to look for.
Well, there probably aren't many 12-year-olds traveling alone on this flight. We'll spot them.
Oh, here they come now.
Hey, there he is. Rodney? Rodney? Here we are.
Oh, he sees us.
Over here.
He's a lot smaller than I expected. He looks awfully frail.
Hi, Rodney. I'm Uncle Edgar, and this is Aunt June. How was the flight? Fun?
Would you like a cold drink or something before we start home?
Well, at least he shook his head no.
He's probably terrified from the long trip alone, and we're total strangers to him. Well, when he sees his room and the swimming pool, he'll brighten up, won't you, Rodney? Well, shall we go home?
He's still in his room?
Yes. I'm really uneasy, Ed. He just won't say a word. While I was unpacking his things, I chatted and asked him questions, but he doesn't speak. And there was one suitcase he wouldn't let me touch.
Well, I wouldn't worry yet. He's only been here a few hours. George said he's the quiet type. Give him a chance to get used to us.
Quiet is right. Completely quiet.
There can't be anything serious. I mean, George would have told us if he had a problem. He's certainly not autistic.
No, he responds all right. He nodded yes and no. He shrugged. He just won't speak.
I think I hear him in the kitchen. I'll get him out here and into the pool. Hey, Rodney! Come on out.
Oh, you've got your suit on already. Would you like to swim?
Last one in is a rotten egg. Come on in.
Go on in, Rodney. You can swim, can't you?
Yeah, attaboy. Come on. Oh, there we go. And get up on my shoulders now. I'll toss you. That's it. A strong little devil, aren't you? Here we go. Oh.
Ed, are you all right? Ed, what's the matter?
Get off.
Ed!
Get off.
Ed!
Help!
I'm throwing you the life ring, darling. You have to catch it. Hold on. Rodney, help me pull him in. Hold on, Ed. You're almost to the side. There, darling. Here, grab my arm.
I'm okay. I gotta get my breath.
Stretch out, darling. Face down. What was it? A cramp?
Lord, that kid is strong. I couldn't get out from under him.
Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, I know it wasn't your fault, Rodney. I put you up on my shoulders.
But, Edgar, he slipped off your shoulders.
No, he didn't. He was pressing down on me.
Well, there was so much splashing, I couldn't tell what was going on, except that you looked like you were drowning.
I think I almost did.
But he's not that heavy. He's almost scrawny, and you're 200 pounds.
I couldn't get up.
Edgar, he's gone into the house.
He probably feels guilty. I tried to tell him it was my idea.
Hello? Anything the matter?
Oh, Mrs. Nathanson. Oh, please, come in.
Well, I was in my garden. I heard a commotion. Nothing serious, I hope.
Well, yes, almost. Here, darling, sit down.
Oh. Yeah, I was playing with Rodney and nearly drowned in the pool.
Dear me, how awful. Well, I'm glad to see you didn't. Oh, by the way, who is Rodney?
He's a youngster my brother in New York took in. He's 12. We're looking after him for the week.
Ed's brother and his wife are in Switzerland for a lawyers' conference.
Oh, yes. I was in Switzerland in 1903 with Mr. Nathanson. How did you almost drown, Mr. Carpenter?
I don't know. I was playing with the boy, and I couldn't get my breath. I couldn't get to the surface.
Oh, curious. Your pool isn't that deep.
And Rodney's not that big.
Well, all's well that ends well. I'll get back to my roses.
Oh, Mrs. Nathanson, since you're here, I wonder, could we call on you to sit with Rodney, 1 or 2 nights a week when we go to the club?
Oh, but of course, I'd be delighted. You know, my grandson, Arthur, he's a 14-year-old. He called me the other day, all on his own, and it was just...
Would you like some iced tea, Mrs. Nathanson?
Oh, no, dear, thanks. I must get back. Glad it was nothing serious. Just call any time. I'll be glad to sit with Rodney.
Thanks so much. Well, I'd better go in and see him.
Yeah, he probably feels that it was his fault.
I'll talk to him. We've got to make him understand he's not to blame. I brought you some lemonade, Rodney. I know you feel strange here, and that's understandable. You've never met us before, but please, we're your friends. Rodney, let me ask you, can you talk and just don't want to, or are we trying to make you talk when you can't? You can shake your head, yes or no. Oh, You don't want to answer. All right, Rodney. I'll tell you what. While you're with us, you can do just as you want. We won't press you. And if you feel like talking, we'll be happy to talk with you. I'm going down and start supper now. We're having steak outside. I'll call you when we're ready. Rodney? What is it? Oh, you want to write something. Oh, good. Wait. Let's see. There should be paper right here. Yes, here, Rodney. A pad and a pencil. I'm so glad you want to say something. Take your time. If you want to communicate to us through notes, it's perfectly all right. Let's see. Rodney, what a horrible thing to write.
Your cat is going to die.
Why should he write such a cruel thing? I thought he was going to say thank you or something. I was trying to be kind.
Your cat is going to die. Strange, all right.
Do you think he means he's going to try and kill her?
Oh, come on.
Where are you going?
Going back upstairs and find out what's with this kid.
Ed, please, don't upset him anymore.
Well, he's getting me upset with that stony stare of his, mocking us with his silence. Look here, Rodney. What does this mean?
Ed.
Why? I want to know right now why you wrote this. I mean, there's the pad, and write your answer if you won't talk.
Ed, wait. He's crying.
Well, he's going to have more to cry about if we don't get an answer from him.
Rodney, what is it? You're so unhappy. You're sorry you wrote the note. Is that it? Look, he's nodding his head.
Okay. Take it easy, Rodney. I'm sorry I lost my temper.
Rodney, get into bed, put on your pajamas, and just rest. I'll bring you a light supper later. It's been a trying day for you. We won't bother you any more today. We'll leave you now. Okay? Okay.
Brother George sent us a handful.
I think you should get in touch with him right away and find out if this is Rodney's usual behavior. I don't see how they could have put up with this for even a few months.
No, neither do I.
Do you want to call him?
No, let's wait. I can't see getting George upset on our first day. Let's give it a chance. After all, we ought to be able to deal with a 12-year-old boy.
Well, maybe we were wise to wait. He's been a little better the past 2 days.
Yeah, he's getting used to us.
If only he'd talk. He hasn't even written anything since that first note.
Maybe he hasn't anything to say. We do the talking, and all he has to say is yes or no.
Ed, have you ever looked deeply into his eyes?
No, not really.
I have. Several times. I felt as though I were staring into a deep well, an abyss, into nothingness.
Oh, come on.
Mr. Carpenter. Mrs. Carpenter.
Oh, what's the matter, Mrs. Nathanson? You're all flushed. Here, sit down.
Oh, no, that's all right. I don't know how to tell you. I'll just have to say it. Under my porch this morning, I found your cat, Sylvester, dead.
It seems that Rodney's prophecy came true. He told the Carpenters a cat would die. But was it a prophecy, I wonder? Or did Rodney have something to do with it? He's such a strange youngster. Would he go so far as to kill an innocent little cat that belonged to people he hardly knew? I hope a similar fate doesn't await the other people in our story. We'll find out when I return shortly with Act 2.
Do you know why a joint savings account with your spouse, life insurance in each other's names, even joint ownership of your home could someday cause your family to pay thousands of dollars in extra taxes? For authoritative information and answers to vital questions concerning your family's financial security, you should read an important book from Dow Jones & Company called How to Save Taxes Through Estate Planning. In easy-to-understand, everyday language, it explains how to make sure your hard-earned assets are protected from unnecessary and crippling taxes. Vital information that every family should know. You can order this valuable book now and have it charged to your Visa, MasterCharge, or American Express card by calling toll-free 800-228-5000. How to Save Taxes Through Estate Planning is only $8.95 plus $1 postage and handling. And if you call now, you'll also get free a 24-page companion financial planning workbook. So call now, 800-228-5000. Toll free, 800-228-5000.
Maybe we're all too emotional when we think about special education for handicapped children. We always think of human values, not dollar values. Maybe it's time we took a cold, hard look at these kids and what it costs to develop their potential. Okay, the truth. Special education and vocational training cost a lot of money. Special teachers, special equipment, special classes. It all adds up. But here's the catch. It costs even more not to educate handicapped people. Much more. Keeping people dependent for life or keeping them in institutions. Those are luxuries we can't afford. So don't be emotional. Look at it coldly, in dollars and cents. With special education, most handicapped children grow up to become taxpayers. It's a good investment. A public service message on behalf of the United States Office of Education. Overnight company can indeed be troublesome now and then, particularly when the company is a strange child who writes threatening notes. But then, who could be afraid of a 12-year-old child? But remember, Rodney is somewhat of a special child, an orphan whose parents were killed in an auto accident. I think we ought to have some compassion for the boy. But at the moment, the Carpenters and Mrs. Nathanson are lamenting the death of the Carpenter's cat.
There he is. I'm so sorry.
Are there any marks on him, Ed?
You don't seem to be. No. None at all.
Well, he might have eaten something.
He never leaves the yard. He couldn't have gotten any poisoned food.
Must have died last night. I'm going to take him to the vet for an autopsy. I'm serious.
I'll get a carton. I have one round back.
Do you think Rodney killed Sylvester?
Don't you?
I don't want to think that.
I'm taking Sylvester to the vet, and then I'm going to talk to that kid.
I'll come with you.
I don't know what to say to him now. You heard the vet. No apparent cause of death. How could Rodney be responsible for that?
Ed, we've got to stop blaming him and being suspicious of him. He needs some kindness.
Maybe you're right.
Oh, look. What's that on the coffee table?
A paper. It's his handwriting. Look at this.
I told you so.
That evil little devil. Rodney? Rodney! Come down here right now.
What are we going to say to him?
Plenty. He's going to be around here for the rest of the week. He's not going to get smart with us. This has got to stop. Rodney? Come over here. Right here. Rodney, I don't know what you meant by this note. You didn't kill Sylvester. And writing a note like this is cruel. Don't let me see another note like this in this house again. You understand?
Look, he's going to write something.
Well, good. Let's see what you have to say for yourself.
He's not saying much. 2 words.
Well, at least we're getting something out of him.
Well, what did he write?
What did I just get through telling you?
Ed, what are you doing? You hit him.
I'll teach this.
What did he write?
Here.
You're next.
You go to your room. Right now. No 12-year-old is going to intimidate me.
Go on up, Rodney.
He's a brat we're stuck with for the week, and he's not going to scare me with those threats.
Ed, please, calm down. The child's just being belligerent. You're going to antagonize him even more.
You're not afraid of him, are you?
I don't know. He won't open his door. We'll have to go without him if you still want to go.
We'll go to the beach instead of the zoo. I got a yen for some surf fishing. If he doesn't want a good time, the heck with him. You'll be safe here alone. We'll be back in a couple of hours.
Maybe I'd better stay. I don't care that much for the beach anyway, and, well, frankly, you deserve the relaxation.
He'll be all right. Besides, I thought you were afraid of him.
Not afraid. No. I feel sorry for him. He seems a terribly disturbed boy.
Okay, I'll go alone if you don't mind.
No, I'll pack you a lunch. Maybe alone I can get closer to Rodney.
Hello? May I come over?
Oh, please do, Mrs. Nathanson.
Oh, well, I saw Mr. Carpenter drive off with his fishing gear. Tell me, what did you learn about poor Sylvester's death?
The vet couldn't say. Just no apparent cause.
Well, that's strange, isn't it? Oh, but it does happen, I guess. Oh, by the way, how is the young man who's staying with you? I haven't seen him at all.
He's all right. He stays in his room a lot.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound natural for a 12-year-old boy. Is something the matter with him?
Well, we don't know. He never speaks. He writes the most ghastly notes. There seems to be something disturbing the child.
Oh, well, what kind of notes does he write?
Well, the first said our cat would die.
Oh.
And then he left one saying, I told you so.
Oh, dear me.
And then, right in front of us, he wrote, you're next.
Oh. Well, maybe it's his way of attracting attention.
We don't know anything about him. Could he have killed Sylvester? Somehow?
Oh, that doesn't seem likely. What does Mr. Carpenter think?
Well, he thinks Rodney's just a brat. He doesn't take his notes seriously.
Oh, well, the child's certainly not going to kill anyone. He's just going through a stage.
Oh, excuse me. There's the phone.
Oh.
Stay here. I'll be back in a minute.
Yes.
Hello?
June? I never made the beach. I'm at the hospital.
What? What are you talking about? What's the matter?
Lost control of the car going over to Coronado. It just wouldn't steer. It went into the water.
Ed, for heaven's sake.
I wanted you to know before you heard it from someone else. The car's in 8 feet of water.
I'll be right there, darling.
No, you stay where you are. The cops are going to bring me home. I'm okay. I got out in time.
Well, hurry, then. Hurry.
I will.
Mrs. Carpenter, what is it? You're shaking.
That was Ed.
Oh.
He lost control of the car. It went into the water at Coronado.
Dear me. Is he all right?
Yes. The police are bringing him home.
Oh, thank heaven.
I don't understand it. Ed had a complete annual overhaul on the station wagon last month. Well, they would have found anything wrong with the steering.
Oh, you'd think so.
Please, stay with me, Mrs. Nathanson. I'm so upset. I don't want to be alone.
Of course I will, of course. Can I get you something?
Oh, yes. There's some aspirin in the cupboard over the sink. I could use it.
Oh, all right. I'll get it. Now, you sit right there. Oh, this is curious. Huh. Oh, here's your aspirin. I found this on the kitchen table.
Oh, no.
It says missed. Just the one word, missed.
It's his writing. Rodney's.
What does he mean, missed?
On top of Ed's accident. He's a fiend.
Oh, but the child couldn't possibly have had anything to do with the car.
I am beginning to wonder.
Mrs. Carpenter, I think you're letting yourself
I don't want
all...
Ed to see that paper.
Oh, Do you still have the other notes?
Yes.
I wonder. My sister's quite good at handwriting analysis. Now, she's helped the police department several times. Perhaps if she looked at Rodney's writing, she could tell us something about his character. It's quite revealing.
That is a good idea. Would she?
And how is Mr. Carpenter? That accident yesterday shook him terribly.
He's staying in bed today. We have to go to the club dance tonight. He's the president. We can't miss it. Oh, I wish we could cancel.
Oh, now don't worry. Everything will be fine. And don't forget, I'll be sitting with Rodney. But I really came over to tell you what my sister says about his handwriting.
Oh, yes, what?
Well, she couldn't be as thorough as she usually is because the letters are printed, not written.
Yes?
Of course, I didn't tell her a thing about who Rodney is. She didn't even know he was a child.
What did she say?
Now, this is so curious. She said she got the impression, just the feeling, mind you, that the person was a very old man.
An old man?
Now, she admitted it was just a feeling.
But an old man? What did she say when you told her Rodney is only 12?
She looked rather strange and said, I'd never have guessed it.
Hi. Couldn't stay in bed another minute.
Oh, well, how are you feeling, Mr. Carpenter?
Shaky, but okay. Hey, those look like Rodney's notes.
They are, Ed. Mrs. Nathanson's sister analyzed his handwriting. She's an expert.
Oh, you didn't tell me about this.
Oh, well, she did it last night. I just brought them back.
And what did she say?
She thought that Rodney was an old man.
What?
Well, she couldn't tell much because the letters were printed.
No. Mm-hmm. Did June ask you about tonight, Mrs. Nathanson?
Oh, yes. I'm happy to come over.
I got to go downtown and see about the car. I'll be home around 2.
Please, drive carefully. I still feel uneasy with that child in this house.
Well, he's troubled, and it's understandable after all he's been through. But really, Mrs. Carpenter, I hardly think he's dangerous.
Well, Mrs. Nathanson, we won't be late.
That's all right. Enjoy yourselves. Heaven knows you deserve it.
I wouldn't even go to this dinner dance at all with Rodney here, but as president of the club, I have to be there.
You know the club number if you need us.
Of course. But nothing's going to happen. If Rodney does come down, maybe he'd like a game of checkers. Don't have to talk to play that.
Let's go, June.
Well, goodbye, and relax. Everything's going to be all right here.
Oh, help yourself to anything in the refrigerator. There's a fresh cream pie and coffee's in the pot.
Oh, thank you. Have fun. My, that pie does look good. Oh, you startled me. You're Rodney. Well, I'm glad to meet you at last. I'm Mrs. Nathanson. You're just in time for some delicious cream pie. You don't want any? Oh, I'm surprised. I thought all 12-year-old boys had an empty pit. I wish you wouldn't stare at me like that. You're going to write something? Oh, good. Let's see. Do I like butterflies? Oh, why, yes. I think they're very beautiful. Another note. Would I like to see your collection? Oh, I'd love to, Rodney. How many do you have? Oh, it's upstairs. Okay. Lead the way. So this is your room, Rodney. It's very nice. Oh, but my, so hot and stuffy. Oh, dear me, let's open a window. It's midsummer and you have all the windows closed. There, that's better. Now, let's see your butterflies. Well, aren't you going to show me your collection? Rodney, why are you staring like that? Rodney, don't come any closer to me. I don't like it. Rodney, What's the matter with you?
As I said at the start of our excursion into the macabre, babysitting can be an experience of chilling proportions. Rodney is indeed a handful, and he still has 2 more days to spend with the Carpenters. Frankly, I'd take him over my knee and give him what he deserves. We'll find out what else Rodney is up to when I return shortly with Act 3.
There's never been a story to equal America's. The pioneers who came here for freedom. Except one. The epic story of the first settlers of my country, Australia. They came in chains.
Dell proudly announces The Australians, the breathtaking new series from the creator of John Jake's Kent Family Chronicles. The Australians, beginning with Book 1, The Exiles.
They were exiles. Some convicts, some just dirt poor, shipped out of England like so much cargo to a strange, violent land. The women had it hardest of all, like Jenny Taggart in The Exiles. Jenny's fight for love and freedom is just the beginning of a story filled with the same passion it took to build your country. When you read The Exiles, you'll be glad there are more books and more memorable Australians to come.
The Australians, an epic book series that begins with The Exiles. Now, a Dell paperback bestseller.
And that's why we say, go out and buy a bunch today.
That's your new TV commercial, Mr. Sloak, for snacky crackies with raisin pits.
How much did that actually cost me?
Cost?
Yes.
Well, we're still adding it all up here. $42,000.
TV is so expensive.
Not as long as there aren't any changes.
Did I mention there may soon be a worldwide shortage of raisin pits?
One TV version without raisin pits.
How much will that add to the
$3,000.
And we want to tell Health Nuts we make snackies with Health Nuts.
$279,000.
And we need a version that will talk to the financial community.
With the singing mouse and the dancing bunny in a business suit for...
Let me add that one for you, $380,000.
If business conditions make it necessary, with radio you can afford to change commercials fast. If you want to really target consumer groups, it won't cost a fortune to make commercials that fit each audience. Put amazingly flexible radio to work as a primary medium. Radio, it's red hot. For the red hot facts, call this station or the Radio Advertising Bureau. They brought you this message.
The Carpenter household, once so quiet and serene, hasn't been the same since Rodney arrived. The Carpenters expected that the routine of their lives would change when they agreed to take care of the child for a week, but never in their wildest dreams did they imagine just how drastic the change would be. At the moment, they're trying to enjoy the dinner dance at the club without much success.
Edgar, can't we leave?
I'll only be another hour. What's going to happen?
I don't know. I just would feel better if we were back home.
I call if it'll make you feel better. Talk to Mrs. Nathanson.
I think I will. Do you think I should, warn her?
Now, don't scare the poor woman. Rodney's certainly not going to threaten her.
I'll be back in a minute. Who's this?
Well, who is this?
Oh, excuse me. I must have the wrong number.
Wait a minute, ma'am. Who did you want?
The Carpenter residence, Mrs. Nathanson. Who are you?
I have to know who you are, ma'am.
Well, I'm Mrs. Carpenter. Mrs. Nathanson is babysitting for me.
Oh. I'm police, Mrs. Carpenter.
Police?
Officer Dugan.
What is it? Good Lord, what's happened?
An accident, Mrs. Carpenter. Can you come right away?
Yes, right away. I can't believe it. Mrs. Nathanson.
A neighbor out for a walk saw the body lying next to the house. We think she fell from the upper window.
Rodney's room.
We haven't been able to get a word out of the boy. I'm glad you're here.
If only we'd stayed home.
The boy doesn't talk, officer.
Doesn't talk? He's your son?
No. He's my brother's ward, temporarily. We're taking care of him for a week.
Well, you think we can get anything out of him?
We'll try, but he's a strange kid. We'll need a pad and a pencil.
Oh, I got it right here.
Rodney, you've got to answer some questions. What happened to Mrs. Nathanson?
He's shaking his head no.
Yes, you do know, Rodney. You were here with Mrs. Nathanson. She was found on the ground outside your bedroom window. Now, what happened? Answer me.
Yeah, the kid's frightened, and it's getting late. Put him to bed. We'll try to talk to him in the morning.
Okay. Go to bed, Rodney.
I'll take him up.
Well, there'll be an autopsy. It'll probably show she died of injuries from the fall. I hope that kid can tell us what happened.
Ed. Ed, wake up.
Huh? What's the matter?
Ed, Rodney's just gone downstairs.
What time is it?
4 o'clock.
Well, I'll get up and see what the kid's up to. Rodney?
I'll come with you.
Rodney, where are you?
Can't answer. We'll have to find him.
I don't trust that kid wandering around the house. Now, he's liable to come at us with a butcher's knife.
Ed. The front door. He went out.
Turn on the light.
Why would he be going outside?
Rodney, get in here.
Can you see him?
No.
He might be running away.
Huh. We should be so lucky. Rodney, we know you're out here. Now, come on in. Right now.
I don't like this. I'm getting frightened.
You go in. You're cold. I'll find him.
I don't want to be alone.
Jeez, he could be hiding anywhere. Shrubs.
The front door.
Little devil tricked us. He doubled back inside. Come on.
What's he trying to do to us?
Rodney! Rodney, come here. Right here, right now.
Oh, this is giving me the willies.
He's deliberately trying to bait us.
I'm not going back to bed until I know where he is.
Well, we know he's in the house.
Do we?
And we heard the front door slam when we were outside.
That's all we heard. How do we know he actually came in?
Well, when you put it that way, how do we know he actually went out?
Why is he doing this?
Because he's a malicious brat, that's why. We're not playing into his hands anymore. It's ridiculous to be terrorized by a 12-year-old.
I keep thinking about Mrs. Nathanson. Oh, this whole night's been one horror.
Well, Rodney knows damn well what happened, but how do we get it out of him?
What can we do?
We're going back upstairs.
I couldn't sleep if my life depended on it.
Yeah, well, it won't. I don't know what he's up to, but there's nothing he can do to us. Look, I'm not looking for him anymore.
Oh, it's starting to get light.
Might as well get dressed. The police will be back later this morning. And if Rodney's not here, I don't give a damn.
Ed. His door's closed.
There's no way it could be.
But he's in bed.
Hello?
Ed, it's George. How's it going?
You should ask. Where are you?
New York. Flew in last night, brought a visitor from England back with us. Listen, how'd you get along with Rodney?
Why didn't you tell me he was a little fiend?
What do you mean?
Well, he never said a word the whole week.
Oh, I know. He writes notes to us, too.
That's only half of it.
Well, anything happened to you?
Yeah, we had a tragedy. Our neighbor was sitting with Rodney when we went to the club. She fell out the bedroom window.
What?
And our cat died.
Sylvester? Hey, you have had a week.
Yeah, and it all happened with Rodney here.
Come on, he's just a kid. You don't think...
I can't get into it now, George, but the The minute he gets off that plane, find someplace else for him.
Ed, what's the matter with
I'm telling you, the minute he gets off that plane, take him to some welfare agency or whatever.
Meet him at Kennedy tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, George. Bye. Oh. Rodney. I didn't hear you. You're going back tomorrow. You want to know something, kid? I still think you pushed Mrs. Nathanson out the window. And I still think you had something to do with the cat. No response, huh? I can't prove it. I wish I could. Come here. Closer. Yeah, June's right. There isn't anything behind those eyes of yours. What are you? Well, I don't mind telling you, kid. I'll be glad to see you off tomorrow.
Can't find Rodney. We've got to leave in 10 minutes.
Oh, it's another one of his tricks. Like Thursday night? If it's the last thing I do, I'll get him on that plane.
Maybe he's afraid to go back.
Oh, he's not afraid of anything. I'll put his stuff in the car. We'll find him.
After all that's happened, I still feel kind of sorry. He seems such a lost little boy.
Lost my foot.
Oh. Why, there he is. He's sitting in the car. I never thought of looking there.
Good. He's as anxious to get out of here as we are to see him go. Okay, Rodney, you're on your way.
Well, there it goes.
Bye-bye, Rodney. I had to see that plane in the sky before I'd leave. Now let's go home.
That's funny. There's a note on the back seat. I didn't see it when we took his stuff out.
A note?
I can reach it. I can't imagine when he put it there.
What's it say?
Goodbye. It was.
Goodbye, it was?
Well, he must have meant to finish the sentence like, it was nice, or it was awful.
Just goodbye and it was?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's the last of them anyway.
I wish I knew what he was going to add. You know, maybe he was trying to thank us after all.
Fat chance of that. It would have been something sinister, you can bet on that.
I'm still sick over Mrs. Nathanson. We have to go to her funeral this afternoon.
I know. What the?
Ed, you went right through that red light.
The brakes are gone. I'm down to the floor.
Oh, what?
I'll try to gear down.
Stop, Ed. Stop. That truck's coming right on through.
I can't.
Well, I'm glad you could come to the airport with me, Mrs. Parker. Helen hates the trip.
Oh, well, I'm here to see New York. I want to see as much as I can.
Passengers are coming through the gate now. There he is. Hey, Rodney, over here, Rodney.
Rather a pale young lad, isn't he?
Well, I feel sorry for him. I hope they find him a good home soon. His parents were killed in a car accident.
Oh.
He was living with his grandmother until she died from a fall.
How tragic. But it's nice of you and your wife to take him in.
Rodney, I want you to meet Mrs. Parker. She's from England, and she's staying with us for a while.
How do you do, Rodney?
She'll be sharing your room with you. You don't have to be embarrassed. Mrs. Parker has grandchildren older than you.
Just think of me as a grandmother. I'm sure we'll be good friends, won't we, Rodney?
Oh, I think so, Mrs. Parker. You're going to like Rodney.
I certainly don't. I've been thinking over that last curious note Rodney left the Carpenters, Ed and June. Just goodbye, and it was. Too bad they didn't realize in time, just before their deaths in that terrible crash. Ed had said he'd get Rodney on the plane if it was the last thing he did. Now we know Rodney's cryptic reply. It was. More about Rodney when I return in just a moment.
Welcome to the Kava Club. Happy coffee lovers dedicated to the enjoyment of the one and only Kava Instant Coffee. It's the only coffee that's 90% acid neutralized. Tastes less bitter, so it feels lots better. You always enjoy smooth and friendly coffee, cup after delicious cup. So if you're sometimes bothered by ordinary coffee, join the Kava Club. Switch to 90% acid neutralized Kava Instant Coffee. Tastes less bitter, feels lots better.
Not Ford, not GM. Only participating Dodge dealers will pay you $50 to test drive any new Dodge car or truck. And if you buy one within 30 days, even if it's a qualifying competitive new 1980 car or truck, you'll get a $50 check direct from Chrysler. Just bring in your test drive certificate and proof of purchase. One check per customer.
America's saying yes to Dodge.
We're that confident in Dodge that if you test drive one of our cars, you'll buy one. See your participating Dodge dealer for all the details.
When an orange says Sunkissed on the outside, you know it's juicy and sweet on the inside.
Eat Sunkissed sweet. It'll knock you off of your feet. It's so fresh and juicy, plump and heavenly. Eat Sunkissed sweet.
Sink your teeth into a big, bursting, sweet, succulent, scintillating, juicy, vibrant, luscious, lip-smacking, mouth-watering, tongue-tickling, sun-kissed orange.
Ain't Sunkissed sweet.
Minutes seem like hours when you sometimes have trouble getting to sleep. Wouldn't you like to get to sleep fast? Announcing new Unisom. A different generation sleep aid. The only one with doxylamine. To our knowledge, Unisom is the only non-prescription sleep aid proven effective in clinical tests. When you sleep better, you feel better. For occasional sleeplessness, take new Unisom. Use only as directed.
Who is Rodney? The bad seed? A bad boy who can't help himself? Or perhaps a demon from another time, destined to spend eternity causing identical tragedies wherever he goes? The empty eyes, the extra strength, and that curious mistake of Mrs. Nathanson's sister, thinking he was very old. Or was it a mistake? We can only speculate. Our cast included Patricia Elliott, Tony Roberts, Bryna Rayburn, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
That's the horror for today. I hope you enjoyed our story this time. You can find more from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater at relicradio.com, alongside thousands of other old-time radio shows, all the other podcasts, and our Shoutcast stream. And don't forget, if you'd like to help support it all, you can donate through the website at donate.relicradio.com or click on one of the links on the website. And thank you, as always, to those who have helped out. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back next Saturday with the Lux Radio Theater on another episode of The Horror.
Strange Tales.
RelicRadio.com presents tales of the strange and bizarre, the weird and the wicked. Stories not necessarily of the supernatural, but of the unnatural. Join us now for Strange Tales, featuring radio drama at its most mysterious and unusual. Back to Strange Tales, and thank you for joining me once again. We're going to hear this week from Theater 5, a series of 260 episodes that aired over ABC stations from August of 1964 to July of 1965. Our story today is from December 28, 1964. It's titled Five Strangers.
Theater 5 presents Five Strangers.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's been no change in the weather over the eastern and central portions of the country. The extremely foggy conditions are expected to extend at least into the mid-morning hours. All flights to and from this airport have been canceled until further notice. I repeat,
This
all
cursed
flights
fog.
canceled
Look at it
until
out
further
there.
notice.
Just look at
Thank
it.
you.
I beg your pardon. Were you speaking to me?
No. I'm sorry. It's this rotten weather. I've been here at the airport for 9 hours waiting for it to lift.
Yes, I saw you when I arrived.
Look, haven't I seen or met you somewhere before? Of course. Baines Cosmetics. You're Deborah Baines.
That's right.
Yes, I remember now about the newspaper story. It concerns your new line in cosmetics, right?
Well, it's a little more than that. You see, I've been negotiating with another leading cosmetics firm for, well, I really shouldn't be discussing it.
Oh, I understand perfectly. But it must be pretty important.
Well, it's extremely important. In fact, a great deal depends upon my arriving in Chicago before 9:30 in the morning.
Well, that makes two of us, Miss Baines. My deadline is 10 o'clock.
Oh?
After that, things are sure to get pretty sticky. If this fog doesn't lift soon, I don't like our chances.
Oh, now, can't we do anything about it?
I'm afraid not. By the way, my name is Monroe. Stephen Monroe.
Oh, not Stephen Monroe Enterprises. Well, now it's my turn to be impressed. I've heard quite a lot about you, Mr. Monroe.
Don't you believe more than half of it?
Which half?
Well, the half I hope they believe.
They?
Yeah, the two over there on the bench. The old man and the lady.
Did you say lady?
Yes. She does seem a bit overpainted, doesn't she?
With Baines Cosmetics, I trust.
People like them are very important to us, Miss Baines. They buy your cosmetics and my,
Schemes?
I prefer to say buy my dreams.
Oh, come now. Shouldn't you say pipe dreams? Now, I don't mean that in a nasty way, Mr. Monroe, but you must admit that most of the companies you float have a way of suddenly going bankrupt.
True, but on the other hand, you must also admit that everything I do is completely legitimate.
Ah, tricky, but legitimate.
We both have to skirt corners a little bit, don't we, Miss Baines?
Do we?
As an example, let's take your deal with Antoine Laboratory Products. Since the consummation of that deal, Antoine's stock has gone down to precisely nothing, but Bain's stock has doubled in value. I salute you on that one.
Thank you.
And I imagine that if you keep your appointment in Chicago, Bain's stock will soon show another raise.
Well, I'm not in business to lose money.
No, nor I. You know, when you think about it, we're very much alike.
I think I'll accept that as a compliment, Mr. Monroe.
I'm pleased that you do. However, I wonder what the public, represented by those two people over there, I wonder what they'd think if they knew the truth about us.
Ah, there's the rub. I'm quite sure we won't let them learn.
Ah, you're so right. The way I see it, Miss Baines, there are two kinds of people in this world. The winners and the losers. Our two friends over there are the losers.
Well, yet you must admit they have a certain amount of determination.
Why do you say that?
Well, there are only the four of us left here in the waiting room, and a few hours ago there were scores of people. I wonder where it is that they're so anxious to go, and why.
No, one thing is certain.
What's that?
They're not together. I haven't seen them speak to each other yet.
Oh, but they will, Mr. Monroe. The losers of this world need company. They have a kind of herd instinct that ultimately brings them together.
This waiting, it is not so nice, yeah?
I can think of better things to do.
Oh, no doubt. Let me see. I have been here now for more than 3 hours.
Beautiful looking watch.
Oh, thank you. You know, at one time, people took great pride in owning pocket watches like this. Entirely handmade, carefully and lovingly made. Yeah, but now, when everybody's life is actually old by time, people buy watches that come out of machines like Frankfurters. Many of the watches are very, very good, but it is not the same.
Are you a watchmaker?
Yeah, yes. Ever since I am a young man in Europe. But now I am an American citizen for 35 years. Yeah, 35 years, but I do not lose the way of speaking or even sometimes of thinking. Oh, you must excuse me. I introduce myself. I am Felix Kram.
And I'm Sally Dowse.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Sally. I hope you do not mind my talking to you like this?
No, not in the least. Talk away, Mr. Cram.
Good. Helps to pass away the time, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Time. Time has been my whole life. That is why I wish to fly to Chicago. There's a watchmakers' convention tomorrow. There are not many of us left to keep the old ways, but we do our best.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
How nice of you to say that. How very nice. But now we talk about you, yeah?
Oh, well. There isn't very much to talk about, Mr. Cram.
What? No, that I do not believe.
No.
You are a most pretty woman, a nice person. We all have something to say, loved ones to think about, to tell others about.
Nope, you're drawing a blank this time.
Blank?
Loved ones to talk about. They're not in stock at the moment.
You have no family?
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to...
No, it's all right. Don't let it keep you from taking out your photographs.
Huh? How did you know?
Just a guess, Mr. Cram.
Well, I would like to show you one photograph. Here. This is a picture of my family.
Yeah, it's a very nice family, Mr. Cram.
We get together a few times a year. This photograph was taken during the last family gathering at Christmas time. Sally?
Yes?
You look so tired.
I was born tired.
It is not of my business, but where are you going?
Well, I'm trying to go to Chicago.
You have work there?
Well,
No, do not answer. I am an inquisitive old man who asks far too many questions.
I'll tell you something, Mr. Cram. You know, it's a nice change to have someone interested enough in me to ask questions.
I am sure that many people are interested in you.
Yeah, but for the wrong reasons. You see, Mr. Cram, I'm what you might call an entertainer.
You sing?
Well, I dance, you might say.
Oh, that must be very exciting, that kind of life. Have you been on TV, Sally?
I don't do that kind of dancing.
Oh, the fog seems thicker, if anything. I have never seen such a fog. It's like smoke from a fire.
If I had known about this fog, I'd have taken a train this afternoon.
Yeah, well, it's too late for that now.
There must be some way to get there. You know, if I don't arrive in Chicago by 9:30 in the morning, I'd stand to lose a fortune.
What about me? I've planned this move for months. I'd have been there yesterday if it hadn't been for a sudden business deal.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Listen.
the latest weather report predicts widespread fog conditions to prevail over the eastern and central portions of the country for at least the next 7 hours.
Oh.
High winds are expected to reach the Chicago area by mid-morning. These winds from the west will undoubtedly disperse the fog, and Chicago
Mid-morning?
airport will then be...
But it might just as well be next September.
The weather report could be wrong.
Let's face it, Miss Baines, we've had it.
Well, I am not going to give up.
Neither am I. But all we can do is sit and wait and hope for a miracle.
I'd give almost anything to get to Chicago.
How much is that in cash, lady?
What?
I said, how much is that in cash?
I don't see how my business concerns you.
Well, the point is it could. You see, I represent Toger's Independent Air Service. Maybe you've heard our motto. We fly anywhere, if the price is right.
I've never heard of your company, Toger.
Well, usually we carry only freight.
Do you have an aircraft available for a flight to Chicago?
That's why I'm here, Monroe.
Oh, you know me, eh?
Of you.
How do you get a clearance in this fog?
I don't need a clearance. I operate from a field about 10 miles from here.
And you'd be willing to fly even in this weather?
Well, if you don't mind flying in a DC-3.
Are you a qualified pilot?
Now, look, I was listening to you two. I know how badly you want to get to Chicago. All right, I can fly you there. The rest now is entirely up to you.
How much do you want for the trip, Mr. Toger?
Well, a few minutes ago you said you'd give almost anything. I'd still like to know how much that amounts to in cash.
Well, I'm willing to give you $500.
Right now, I'm bartering with the lady, Monroe. I'm sorry, but 500's not enough. Make it 1,000, you got a deal.
I have no choice. I'll pay you the $1,000.
Fine. I'll have you in Chicago before 9 in the morning.
Well, how about me?
Well, how about you?
Well, I'll throw in $500.
I'll tell you what, Monroe. You just wave that $500 in the air and see if it'll fly you to Chicago.
Now, see here.
As far as I'm concerned, Monroe, you can walk.
All right, Toger. $1,000.
Now you can fly.
Pardon me?
Yeah?
I'd like to get to Chicago, too, but $1,000...
How much do you have?
You'd laugh if I told you.
Is it more than 50?
Yes.
Well, that's my price, 50.
What? You're charging her only $50?
That's the tourist rate. You're first class, but don't get me wrong, Monroe. When I say first class, I'm talking about the rate. By the way, I collect my fares in advance.
I don't like your attitude, Toger. Now...
Well, there's nothing at all that I like about you. Now just pick up your luggage and shut up before I change my mind about taking you.
Mr. Toger, what about my friend here, Mr. Cram? He'd like to come along, too.
Yeah. Do you have room for me, too, Mr. Toger?
Do you have $50?
Yes.
Then let's go.
Toger?
Uh-huh. What is it?
Do Do you mind if I come forward?
No, come on. Matter of fact, I can use the company. Yeah, sit down.
Oh,
right there. Be my
thanks.
co-pilot. There's coffee in that thermos. Help yourself. You can finish it.
Oh, thanks. Hot coffee.
Yeah? Hey, you must be cold in that thin outfit you're wearing.
Well, it's not the cold as much as it was the company back there.
Oh?
Yeah, Mr. Cram went to sleep. I was left with the other two.
The con man and the cosmetics lady, huh?
Oh, I knew about Deborah Baines, of course. She's always in the papers. But he's new to me.
He isn't to me. My father invested money in one of Monroe's companies. The company folded. It was a setup from start to finish. My father had one major failing.
Yeah?
He trusted people.
And you don't.
Well, you noticed that I collected my fares before we took off.
What I noticed mostly was how you enjoyed taking Monroe's money.
Yeah. It was exactly $1,000 that my father invested in his company.
Yeah, but you charged Deborah Baines $1,000, too.
Well, that was for associating with Monroe.
Oh. Soupy out there, isn't it?
Couldn't get any soupier.
How are we doing?
Better than I expected. Say, you must be pretty anxious to get to Chicago to fly through this stuff in an old DC-3.
Oh, I've got a job waiting for me.
Oh?
At the Paradise Club.
Oh.
Ah, you've heard of it.
Yeah, I've been there. What kind of a job?
Dancer.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should have said strip teaser.
Well, that's dancing.
You must be joking.
There are worse ways to make a living.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know.
Say, that old fella back there.
Oh, Mr. Cram?
Yeah. He likes you. I mean, in a nice kind of a way. And I figure he's a pretty good judge of character.
Well, it's a new line.
Funny thing is, I think I mean it.
Hey, you're making a pass at me.
Of course. A serious pass. As a matter of fact, I'm going to watch your debut at the Paradise. And I promise you, not once will I ask what a nice girl like you is doing in a place like that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Toger, it's cold back there. You have any blankets?
Nope.
Well, shouldn't this plane be heated?
Well, cargo doesn't need heating.
What's in that thermos bottle?
Well, there was some coffee, Mr. Monroe, but I finished it.
Where are we, Toger?
9,000 feet above the ground, halfway to Chicago. Now, why don't you just go back where you belong?
Well, she's here, isn't she?
At my invitation.
I wonder why.
Well, listen, you stink.
It's all right, Mr. Toger. I don't mind. I grew up on talk like that. Runs off my back like water off a duck.
Hey, what's that?
Huh? Oh, it's just the starboard engine. I'll have to feather the prop. Don't worry, one engine will do the job.
Hey, that engine's on fire. It's burning.
What? Listen, both of you, get back with the others. Lie down on the floor. Brace yourselves against something. I'm taking her down.
Mr. Cram, are you all right?
Yes, Sally, I think so.
Miss Baines? Monroe?
We're still in one piece, Toger. No thanks to you.
All right.
Mr. Toger, over there.
Yeah, I see it. A light. All right, everybody.
All right.
Come on. Come on. Hello? Hello, anybody in there?
Oh, for heaven's sake, try the door. It's freezing cold.
All right.
Oh. What a strange place.
Absolutely bare. Empty. Just the door and one window.
Mr. Cram, are you sure you're all right?
Yes, just a little tired, maybe.
Well, why don't you sit down and rest, huh?
No, my dear. I think I will stand here by the window with Mr. Toger.
Stay with us, Sally.
All right.
Here. Hold my hand.
Yes.
Oh, a touching sight. Well, enjoy yourself while you can, Toger, because you're in real trouble. That aeroplane of yours should have been condemned. We were fools to let you talk us into that flight.
I didn't have to talk you into anything. You practically begged to come aboard.
I don't think a judge and jury will be concerned about that. You mark my words, Toger. You're in real trouble.
Mr. Monroe, I'm frightened.
Now, there's nothing to be afraid of, Miss Baines. All we have to do is wait for a search party to find us.
But the light.
A light? What are you talking about?
This room. It's illuminated.
Well, of course it is.
But there's no lamp or bulb. Where's the light coming from?
Well,
there's also the crash, Monroe. We plowed straight into that mountain. Now just look at us. No injuries. Our clothing isn't even soiled.
We were spared by a miracle, Toger, but it'll take more than a miracle to keep you out of jail when I'm finished with you.
Right now, Monroe, you're the least of my worries. Have a look out there.
Eh?
Yeah, there. Right through the window. You can see the flames, can't you?
Well, there are men out there.
Yeah.
Well, we're saved.
Oh, look again. Go on, Monroe. Look.
They seem to be carrying something from the wreckage.
5 stretchers. One for each of us.
I'm scared.
So am I. Hold on tight.
Well, what does this mean?
It means we're dead, you fool. We're dead. We're dead.
Yeah. And the question now is, what happens next?
Theater 5 has presented 5 Strangers, written by Don Herring, produced and directed by Warren Somerville. In the cast, Augusta Dabney, Court Benson, Evelyn Juster, Robert Dryden, and William Redfield. Audio engineer Neil Pultz. Sound technician Ed Blaney. Script editor Jack C. Wilson. Original music by Alexander Vlastotsenko. Orchestra under the direction of Glenn Osser. Executive producer for Theater 5, Ted Bell. We invite your comments. Write to Theater 5, New York 23, New York. That's Theater 5, New York 23, New York. This is Fred Foy speaking. This has been an ABC Radio Network production.
That's our Strange Tale for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back next Sunday for another episode of Strange Tales. Come back tomorrow for a Relic Radio Science Fiction. And as always, the website awaits you, relicradio.com. Thousands of other old-time radio episodes available there. All the other podcasts, our Shoutcast stream, lots to listen to. All available for free thanks to your support. If you'd like to help out, visit donate.relicradio.com. Click on one of the links on the website. You're how it all happens. Thanks to those who have helped out. Thanks for joining me today. Talk to you again next week with another episode of Relic Radio's Strange Tales.